Tonight, we're talking about power, purpose, and portal energy, just in time for Lionsgate. Keep streaming.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
And you can thank me for covering your astro.
Leading out loud. Leading out loud. We're leading out loud.
Welcome to Leading Out Loud, the spiritual shift show serving saucy and spicy realness, sometimes a little indigestion. I'm psychic astrologer Christopher Wotecki, the sensei to Sirius Joy.
And I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium and mentor with scottcruzpm.com. How's your week been, Mr. Christopher?
I think it's been a clunky, bumpy week, man. Yeah, it's in Leo, so it's all about the heart. And I definitely have had that theme going on, a lot of heart stuff going on, things my heart cares about, and that sort of thing. So it's not heavy, but not light.
Yeah, I could agree. Wasn't heavy. It was kind of just like the beside yourself energy. Like I'm kind of watching myself do that over there, and I'm participating here. So so I've been experiencing a lot of that. So how do I feel? What do I feel? What do I really feel? All that kind of introspection.
I'm watching things just going by. I'm feeling incredibly good inside because I feel like I've come to a new version of myself. But we're still in the old world with my old reputation, and I'm still getting used to the new fancy special effects that this new version comes with. Honestly, I'm feeling very good inside in full circle, but I'm kind of waiting for the old story to fade out and the new story to fade in. And to some degree, I'm just like, holy shit. I mean, I just can't believe what I'm seeing. I mean, I believe it. I just can't believe it.
Yeah. I mean, that's also a new purge too. Like it's refreshing too when we see things that are contrary to what we're used to. So I kind of get a little refreshed, and sometimes it's a little kind of like scary, or you get anticipation, I would say, because I'm like, I feel like I'm on this like ledge about like I'm about to jump off, but also arrive onto a newer ledge. And so I'm like, can we go there? Like where? So, and there's a process to that, and so I definitely feel that anticipation energy too underneath it. But it's like that's being psychic energy anyway, and so and we're all 5 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead, and so we feel it before it actually happens.
Yeah, no, I'm being prepared. Actually, we're doing a lot of forecasting of what's coming up ahead, and I might as well maybe shift to that first. We'll switch it around for headlines, just so you know.
Why not?
Morgan, as we go with the things here. No, we won't do headlines. We're going to do the astrology first. Mars is moving into Libra today, so and the Sun is in Leo. In a nutshell, the Sun and Leo our hearts now want something different, something bigger, something more powerful, something that like moves us. We're kind of bored, actually. I mean, we've had the same patterns over and over again for a long ass time. And the reason why I've had the same patterns is because we're trying to figure out where we fucked up in past lives and ultimately like correct it. And by the way, the correction is always the way you treat yourself. Just in case anyone wants a cheat sheet, it's the way you treat yourself. That's it. You treat yourself differently, you graduate. And ideally love in a loving way. So what we're heading for is this new declaration of what we're going to do or not do in the future, like a new kind of vision of our future. And I think it's going to come through some sort of an awakening, a flash of inspiration. Mercury stations direct on Monday, August 11th at 4 degrees. It could be around that time. It could be when Venus conjoins Jupiter on Tuesday, August 12th, because that is like a huge making love of the universe and knowledge. I mean, Venus is opening up and Jupiter is knowledge. So it looks like next week there's some sort of personal epiphany. And then there's a full moon in Aquarius. And that full moon Aquarius basically separates you being attached to the old you. And so you can hold on now to this new version of yourself in society. So in a hopefully quick nutshell here, we're kind of like we're Leo. It's like everyone's a Leo this time. It's Leo's birthday, but everyone's a Leo. Everyone's going on stage, and everyone has to do a wardrobe change.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too. I've been saying like how we treat ourselves is what we left unattended subconsciously too, is how we treat ourselves, because, during this time, a lot of that resurfacing of subconscious residue from our past traumas or unresolved traumas or traumas we thought that we already resolved resurfaced. And then you start realizing, holy crap, like I've been doing this behavior and this patterns for so long, it's depriving me of healthy relationships. It's depriving me of like really expanding in my work or career. Right. And so those are going to start coming up too during this time, because that is in the heart. And how we treat ourselves is also understanding what we're letting to go unresolved too, and what's lingering in our subconscious. We need to understand how we're treating ourselves in that way too. What's on autopilot.
Oh, yeah, I agree. It's all
No.
the truth of the matter is you're one step before. Like, so the way we treat ourselves is a result of what you just said. Is a result of all the stuff you said, the stuff in the subconscious. We were subconsciously treating ourselves that way, I think. And we picked it up in society and picked it up in everything. But the profound realization I'm coming to is I'm really starting to feel, I'm not kidding, and I finally get it now because I've heard it from Ascended Master quotes and stuff, is that the truth is that there is only joy in our real existence. The way who we are, our nature, our spirit is just joy. There's no darkness, there's no sadness. All the crap that you experience as unhappy is only an earth thing. And we're actually stepping out of that joy for a moment to understand and appreciate our joy. Is what I'm. So the big picture for that for me was like, wait a second, I am joy pretending to not be. Like you realize it's not gonna be as hard to change because it's like I just have to stop doing something.
Right. Well, I mean, it's also the realization of dynamic. That we have different dynamic too, and so, and I think if those extra tidbits of who we truly are on the soul level get, I would say, unnoticed or unrecognized, it will seem like it's dark, right? Because we have to shine the light on those aspects of self, and I think now is the time where you start doing that, so we can be the powerhouse to manifest, right? So we can actually start really participating in reality and expanding in reality. So then our reality becomes more of what we've dreamed of, because we shine the light on the different dynamic of ourselves, and those dynamics that go unnoticed again will be feeling like dark, heavy energy because they're not being expressed.
Yes, I think in oneself, darkness. I also think it's like residue of self, attacking yourself, self-worth issues, guilt. Right. You feeling, you just all the negative feelings that you feel when you feel guilty for something, and all that's all generated by us. This thing is that we all generate that. We regenerate that. It's a habit for us to go ahead and use our creation powers to regenerate it. People need to know you're making it happen over and over again. And I know it's like, where the fuck is the switch? For this thing, how do I turn this thing off? Once you find it, you do get to that point and you try to find where it is. And for me, the profound thing is like, I'm really, just you said, using your powers. It's like, for the first time, I'm actually ready to try and see if all this works in a very focused way. I've always manifested things so naturally, so easily. I don't mean to sound cocky, but I haven't had to try hard, but I saw the formula and I've taught the formula. But I've never like gone for, the Super Bowl. Like, I've never actually been like, put it on the line. Like I've never, so lately I've been like, I think we should do this. I also feel like I'm convinced that our souls are perfect the way they are, that this is a total pretend game. We pretend to be fucked up and flawed. That's not who we are at all. We're playing these roles because in heaven, it's just so perfect and aligned. It's boring. And we want to know what makes us up on the inside. So we do this like crazy, reality thing. But the truth is every soul's amazing and every soul's perfect already.
Yeah. And I think also too, that we start recognizing, we become less judgmental over the things that we deem as bad, and we see them as necessary. So I think also part of that mastery is to understand that it all is perfect, even the things that we define in physical reality as bad and negative. From our spiritual soul consciousness, no, that's all perfect. Those are perfect expressions of the imperfect too, And so, for me, I feel like the more I've evolved, the more I look at it this way, to where I become less judgmental why things are the way they are, why things happen the way they happen, and I'm just like, there's reasons for that, and the reflections of different things, and for different perspectives that can appear positive or negative, but the soul consciousness is like, there's nothing bad. It's all needed. It's all perfect.
It really is. No, there is. I really feel. I mean, and I can't get into the show, but there's so many things that all my personal understanding of the universe is all come to a big snowball realization pop in another level. And surprisingly, the whole time I thought I was going to go like more holy, like I'm going to go more holy. I'm going to be talking to angels, like. It's gonna be cool. I'm gonna be like Swami, like first day basis, and like so I thought it was gonna be more meditation, more stuff. As I get there, it's actually not. It's actually simpler, less crazy, not worship. Angels like, stop that shit, quit worshiping. Like it's not cool. Like all the worship, all that stuff. That was all a church, all things trying to like keep us on like in this idea. The truth of the matter is, it's just we're on a vacation. Right now, this is a fucking vacation from heaven. This is right now, and I've been worried that my soul could be on fire. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's the pop of my brain. Like I was like, it's been crazy, and I'm convinced we're in a game.
Yeah, or movie. You're participating in your own movie, your own novel, so to speak. And so And the core level, if we understand we came from the process and the evolution for growth, and well, that's kind of redundant, but we're here to evolve, to grow. That's what that purpose is, because when we grow and evolve, we have more wisdom. Our perspective broadens, and then we can actually see all aspects of life, which means we can create worlds after that point.
Yes, we already are with AI. Like AI is the beginning of that same power. We'll talk about later in the show. Yeah. Go ahead. I just want to add.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying, like, and we create worlds even on the spiritual level, and get to experience levels of dimensionality that we weren't able to before because we removed the limitations, And so I think, we all need to strive to understand even now, like, whatever's happening in your life right now, whatever experiences you're having, like, use your heart to figure out the purpose and meaning behind it and what you're wanting because of it. Like, now is a time to focus on that fire energy of the heart, so then we can actually become more expansive and more in tune and more clear to why the fuck we went through it in the first place and how not to go through it again, And so, and I'm really feeling, Christopher, I've been feeling a lot of that, kind of like revisiting from the past stuff. That's
that's the wrap up.
Wow. And almost like,
that's the wrap up.
The wrap, totally, because I feel like I'm just like squashing it. Like, I'm really squashing that cockroach once and for all. I'm like, oh, there's a little bit of residue there from that. Got it.
Oh yeah. Or a last little, tiny little note, or a little like, and don't forget, like something like that.
Little bird turd.
There's like a little extra piece of, I learned just a tiny bit, just a tiny, like, okay, thank you, ding.
Yeah. Well, it's like a little bird. Yeah, like a little bird turd left behind. I'm like, okay, I need to flick that out, And so, but it's like, I want people to also look at it this way in their lives, not question why is this happening, but like, okay, there's a reason. What's the reason? Let's evolve from it. And I think that's what people will be more in control. That's where people have some serious joy.
No, I'm serious, guys. This is a fucking game that you downloaded into, and you're trying to upgrade your avatar, and you keep blaming the game for not having power. And the reality is, we have our power within us. It's like all built in. It's spiritual technology. It's crazy. I've been to some of these dimensions. I've had things happen where I've been under the breath control of an archangel, not apostle, but trainee. Like, they have earth trainees. Like, they literally have psychics who are like, okay, I will go buy milk. Like, they just like, totally. I'm just kidding. They just seriously just do what the angels say. And ultimately they came and one taught me, and they gave me a breath exercise that I did with colors and all sorts of things. It was a secret code, like hitting up dialing in a passcode, and boom, I was in this fucking heavenly room. Just snap, my consciousness went there from me doing the breath work. And my immediate mind was like, what? There's a password? There's a breath work password to get in there, man? Like, and I don't remember the password now. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. It was one of those moments. Now, I never expect people to believe stuff like that when I say, I was like, honestly, y'all just have to ask for something like that to happen and see if it does. And that's, I was open to everything. I told the universe, I want to learn how all this shit. Like, please, come on, tell me. So you have to tell the universe you're interested in learning, because otherwise the universe is like, do whatever you want to do. So, we're not going to interrupt your game.
Well, it's not even that. It's like we have to direct where we want to learn. So many people just want to like open up the floodgates, and then if you open the floodgates of all information, it's going to be overwhelming. So you're not going to do that. So we have to redirect where we want to learn and what we want to learn.
I think that's before we come down. I think that's programmed in the game. I think that's programmed in the episode. I'm seriously like, I feel like we meet with counselors, we map out the game up there. It's programmed into the game, and then between points you have free will.
Well, of course, but we set the parameters. You know what I'm saying? We set the parameters as such. So when we get to a point, when we get to a point, like I was saying before, where we can actually expand, like you were saying, and kind of like direct where we want to learn, because we do have the free will to decide of that. We get to expand our perspective on what we're doing in the physical world, but also how to connect with the interdimensional information in the Akashic records or in our past incarnations. We get to tap into that information too, whenever we desire to. When we get to the moment of free will, when we played out those parameters and we get to an upgrade, then we could take advantage of those opportunities. We'll always be seeking. We could be conscious of always seeking upgrades somehow that we're experiencing.
I think it's going to be, I honestly think it's going to be like download the Matrix. Like, I honestly feel we're about to just catapult forward. And it's not just in AI, which is pretty incredible in itself. It is in that people are seeing past lives. They are doing out of bodies. I think people are going to be doing out of body experiences. I think they're going to be going astral projecting. And I'm going to learn how to show up in your living room at 11 and see what happens. Like, seriously. And the fun that can happen. I think these are all possible within our reach. I think before, the earth was so condensed, the yogis, the ones who got access to it, they had to work really hard, like diving deep in their meditation, going deep in their subconscious.
Yeah.
And so they had to work so hard to get there. But now everything is lit up.
Yeah. Now I feel people are just, now people are just falling into that stuff. They're falling into, oh, I just had a lucid dream. They're falling into the fact that they astral projected, or they,
Yeah.
channeled or remotely viewed something. Like, it's kind of just coming to a lot of people naturally without trying to.
Yeah.
So I
And
think it's time.
surprisingly, the whole time they've been arguing, right? Or in some cases arguing the whole time that wasn't wrong. And then now when it actually happens, they're so blown away by them. It's like, I'm not going to say told you so.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're so genuinely moved. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's to me just a reflection that the human consciousness is evolving and it has expanded. So we should all be celebrating that part. But that's why I feel called. Why I felt called to go on social media the past year and a half, 2 years, is because I feel like I have to help people navigate all that information, the psychic information that they're getting, right, and all that spiritual energy. So there's got to be people who've been dealing with it under the radar for so long, helping those navigate where it's new for them. Because a lot of people during this time, Christopher, as you know, are going to become more intuitive. Their intuition is going to heighten during this time too, especially with 8/8 coming up. So, we're going to see a lot of that, especially in our media. What's in our media?
Yeah.
What is going on in the media?
Well, let's talk about media. 8 days is tomorrow, Scott. We're going to have what we call Lionsgate. Now, Lionsgate's an interesting holiday because it started out actually in the province of Egypt, and that was when the star Sirius rose above basically the pyramid, one of the big pyramids there, indicating the flood of the Nile. Once the Nile flooded in late August or so, it was great because that's finally water. And so they were happy. And they thought it was a sacred thing. And Sirius, interesting, Sirius Joy, there's a lot of connection there. Now, today, Sirius actually rises above that pyramid in July because of the precession of the equinox. And so it doesn't really line with 8/8. But since then, Lionsgate has been somehow hijacked by the numerological companies, people, society, and numerology saw it as sacredness in theirs. And so they sort of like squatted on the old ancient tradition of Lionsgate that the Egyptians did, only they used a numerological reason for doing so, which is 8/8, which is infinity times 2, apparently. But here's the irony. In the step system, the Lionsgate always falls on step 16 Leo. Step 16 Leo is your heart opening up. 6 is to open. It's a Libra. It's like to open up and take anything from the world. That's a Libra. So your heart opens up, step 16, and then it adds to a 7, which means it adds to heaven. This is the one day of the year, ironically, where our hearts are completely surrendered to heaven, and our hearts are completely open to whatever heaven has to say in Leo, the sign of the heart. So you're grounded in the heart, and you open the heart to heaven. So this is a very powerful time, regardless of people finding what their heart really wants, which is what we were talking about earlier. And this happens, of course, on Friday. It is actually happening on Friday, Saturday with step 16. So it is going to be authentically what we call Lionsgate. Now, this year, I'll just say one last thing, that the opening of the heart this year is a big fucking deal because we have cleared a lot of our shadow boxing. We have cleared a lot of our fears. Everything we thought that would kill us ended up being okay. We just kind of like gone through all of our weird stuff. And now our heart has less hesitation than ever. Our heart is more ready to take a risk, more ready to do something new, less damage than it's ever been. This is honestly, despite the medical stuff going on, this is the healthiest the human race has ever been since Atlantis.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think people understanding coming from the heart, a lot of people will, but a lot of people are going to be very chaotic for a lot of people, to understand what that is and letting go of the crutches that they thought they were coming from the heart on which they weren't. For a lot of people, it's going to be very chaotic and confusing, during this time too. So a lot of us who are in tune, we're going to experience that. So, and that's why I've been helping a lot of my clients to decipher between, what is heart processing and what is mind processing. What is processing versus heart processing? Like, we need to identify the differences so then we know how to navigate when we are beside ourselves or we're in this chaotic sentiments of where we're being forced to come from the heart. And so, and I always feel like Leo season is always going to be that, is that in a different fashion, depending on what we're going on in the world. But yeah, I definitely feel that that's why we talk about manifestation in this time too, or 8/8 in manifestation and the infinite energy with the 8/8 and so forth, is because we are in that infinite loop of creation within our own individual, realities. And when we participate, then we can manifest, and we can only participate if we're coming from the heart. When we're coming from the heart, we're not going to want to sit on the couch or just daydream. We're coming from the heart. We're going to go out there and express it and be a part of the participation of the collective current. And so then we manifest and align. So I just think we have to be aware of those two. I see a lot of people have been very reactive in a lot of ways. I don't know if you've noticed this too.
Yeah. I think that's the hearts. Our hearts are vulnerable right now.
Right. And so, and they may not know how to navigate this. So as long as we're just being conscious of how we're reacting and how we're responding, I think then we'll be able to be at least a little bit objective to understand how to navigate it. in a better
Yeah,
fashion.
it's a hard opening. I feel is what it is, and for
Yeah.
everyone, and everyone's opening just a little bit because, again, we faced a lot of our boogeyman. Trump didn't win
Yeah.
the world, and Putin hasn't started World War III yet, and so far, these big fears haven't happened, and we're starting to kind of like get over being scared all the time, and I think our heart is ready to take some risk because if life has got this much bullshit, might as well do something and try something, right? And so I see what you're saying, and I'm saying people also falling into it as well, finding themselves in it, finding themselves in it hard. So,
Right.
so that said, we thought we'd look at some headlines real quick, just see what's going on in the world too, just to find some lines. And we're doing this because we feel like the news is going to start speeding up. We think that lots of things are going to happen, and we just want to have a say in some of this stuff. But it's not about that; it's about what Spirit has to say. So here's the first one: Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein associate, was moved to a federal prison camp in Texas, and serving a 20-year sentence for her role in the Jeffrey Epstein crimes, was transferred from Florida detention facility to a lower security federal prison camp in Bryson, Texas, raising concerns among victims and critics about her potential leniency. So I guess they're worried she's being worked out to a pardon or something.
Well, she's being fluffed right now, of course. And it came out to say that she says, "Oh, to my observation, nothing of concern happened, with Trump. In my view." I'm like, nothing of concern? You're a sexual predator and assisted with pedo. I don't want to say the words. I don't want to get demonetized. So the pedo stuff. How am I going to trust your judgment about there was nothing of concern with Trump? And of course, understanding she's being fluffed right now. It's disgusting. And so the great thing is, though, they did serve. A subpoena, the Congress to say they have to show the Epstein files by the 19th of August. So there is a deadline now for that. So then, of course, the DOJ is like, well, we got to subpoena the Obamas, subpoena the Clintons. Like, okay, cool. So, and we talked about it a couple of weeks ago about, Clinton, right? I've been like pondering my read with Clinton, right? Because obviously there's a lot of people on the flight logs. So, but the people on the flight logs are not necessarily in part of the whole trafficking aspect of things too, So I feel like there's a lot of people that turned a blind eye to the Epstein, propaganda and stuff and whatever he was doing. A lot of people turned a blind eye, but didn't necessarily participate in it. So it's very complex. And so I feel like Clinton, was there and turned a blind eye to it, but I don't really feel heavy participation in the whole trafficking thing, but still just as guilty. You know what I'm saying?
For Bill Clinton.
Yeah, Bill Clinton, yeah.
So
but still
I
just
agree.
as guilty. They're all just as guilty to me because they turned a blind eye or participated somehow in it. Whether it be full force or not,
Either way, it's going to be shame because,
Right.
you and I both would get off that fucking plane. If I got on a plane and there's like teenage girls serving me drinks, I'm like, whoa, what the, what's going on?
Right.
Like, right away, I'd feel uncomfortable. But I think that's the whole point. And well, here, the real thing here, honestly, is that the truth comes out. We just all have to have our intention, our heart. Demand in your heart, you want the truth out. Demand in your heart, you want the truth out. That's what you have to do. Just like, demand. My heart, I want the truth. Who cares what the truth is? Let's just get that damn thing out. I think it's wilder than we think. I think that, it's a complicated game. And I think, unfortunately, this is how disgusting it's gotten in some regards, as far as from what I learned and what I've seen psychically in my head. It's like, yep, not good. And I agree. I don't sense Clinton. Strangely enough, Clinton's a dog. He's a dog. But he's not. I don't think he went that far. However, I've heard rumors that his wife did. So we'll just have to see, y'all.
Right.
But
It's
the
like
interesting thing is that this is like a blackhead coming up out of the United States.
Right.
Like we have this huge. We're about to get severe acne. The United States, as far as how many infections are going to come out, and it's like we don't know what it is, but it's definitely something there. I mean, P Diddy is something there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, any type of reservation of any information or intellect is, to me, a sign of something, malicious or something that someone's trying to hide. So, there should never be any type of information that's hidden when it comes to any type of public matter in that sense. That's that grand of an issue when it comes to, the topic of that. Okay, we know what the topic is. I just want to say it. So, we deserve that. And so I think I said this last year, 2025 is a year of revelations and realizations too. So when it comes to our collective. So and I was saying a lot of truth's gonna be coming out. And I made a shitload of predictions. I made a video about like showing how half of them have already come to pass. And so I feel like this is just part of the truth coming out and people waking up. Even people who are hardcore Trump supporters are now realizing, wait a minute, I'm being duped here, right? And so I think we're all starting to recognize we're duped by politicians, that we need to start driving the show. And this is the breakdown or breakthrough moment I wrote about 7 years ago in a blog about political systems collapsing, and and this is I think this is just the beginning of that. This is the tip of the iceberg of it for me.
I had a conversation with someone recently. I don't remember who it was precisely, but we're talking psychic stuff. And honestly, I feel like the United States will, within the next 7 years, will have some sort of a reboot where every politician is fired at the same time, and for some reason we recast the entire thing. That's something I've seen, and now I have people coming to me telling me they're seeing that same thing. The other thing I feel is that there'll be a constitutional convention. I feel like that we will realize that the Constitution does need some little work. Corporations and their powers is one of them. And I've been shown from the very beginning, I'm just going to say it because, I don't even know when I started saying this, but I've seen a fourth branch of government being built. And the fourth branch of government seems to be sort of a watch eye. It basically watches the other three. And so there's this new form of a total balance kind of thing. And I saw that when I was by the way, 19. I'm not kidding. So it was one of those things like, what the fuck? Well, I was young. And I was like, I honestly thought it was imagination. I thought it was really imaginative, and I thought that'd be a good movie. I'm gonna make the movie, But now it's like that was a movie. But I feel like we have that big of change. But I also feel you know what it was? I had a guest on my show last Friday. Actually, no, it wasn't last Friday. Forgive me. We did a pre-tape. She's not out yet, and she does Darling Rod answers. She's become very popular on Instagram, and so I got to ask a bunch of Darling Rod questions, and the ones that were personal or whatever, the Rods answered. I was like, I agree. So it was like, the Rods were telling me the same thing. But then we started asking stuff political. And one of the things I asked was will the United States government break down? Will we have a breakdown? We have a collapse of our government. We have a collapse of our thing. And she was like, no. She's like, it's going to go really slow. But in the end, it's different. It's way different. And
well, whether
it's the way it's constructed and how we do things and stuff like that. So, So I think we're going to have a re-evolution in that sense.
But saying whether it's slow or fast, it's still breaking down. We're still breaking it down. Whether if you're looking from a soul perspective, it's a crumble and rebuild. And I've said too in seeing my reads is that most like the Democratic Party and the Republican Party cease to exist, and there's like a newer party created that isn't focusing on the two-party system. So I see a major change within the two-party system.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard because we're kind of brainwashed. The first two-party system came out because Thomas Jefferson's an asshole. No, I'm kidding. He actually, that in all great controversy, he was an Aries, but he actually was creating rumors behind George Washington's back. He was on the cabinet of the first presidency, and he started creating political rumors. He started having a false name print, mud stories on George Washington and other towns and stuff. And that's when they started to divide into the two sides: those who were with Washington, those who weren't. And that was the beginning of the divide. I wonder, just within this reality of duality, will we ever be able to avoid that? That's such a temptation, like walking past a donut and not eating it for an American.
Well, I think we're walking away from the extremes of duality. I think we're starting to find a spectrum now of things, right? That we're not so black and white. We're kind of like, oh, there's middle ground now. We're starting to see that with the gender, aspect of things, and as annoying as some components of that can be, it's true. There's a spectrum when it comes to personalities and how people feel, and so I think we're starting to recognize the spectrum with relationships, with spiritual beliefs, now politics. So I don't think it'd be so extreme. In left and right.
I agree. That is the gray. Like it grays out. It's less black and white. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
more diverse.
Story. What's that?
I said, or things become a lot more diverse in that spectrum idea. So when things have that more diversity instead of just so blunt of the left and the right.
I do think it's diversity. I think it's about individuality. I think we're going to be we're going to be in this field of endless individuality, which just creates ridiculous diversity like we've never seen. I think it's going to turn into who can be the uniquest?
Yeah, right. I don't understand how anyone could be opposing to that.
They're not. I think I think people are scared. They don't know how to do it on their own, so they copy and they try things on for a long time. They have the power to do.
No, I'm talking about more of the bigoted-minded people. Why they'd be opposed to people just being their individual self. Of course, there's always fear, but it's like, how do you oppose to someone letting someone just be who they are? And how does somebody else's life threaten your own? And so I think that's breaking down too. Like, why do people let people be? Let's enjoy the variety that we have.
It's a Christian hangover is what it is. I'm moving on to the next story. Trump says he's ordered nuclear submarines repositioned. Excuse me, I will learn how to read. Repositioned after Russia's provocative remarks. President Trump ordered 2 U.S. nuclear submarines to be repositioned in response to provocative online statements. So this is social media statements from former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. Sorry, I'm going to have a Russian mob here in a second. Signaling a rare escalation in tensions between the two nations. All right, so I guess the story here is Trump just, you send a couple nuclear, come on. You send a couple cops to kind of, drive in front of your mansion. That's a shitty thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to piss you off. That's definitely a provocative thing.
It's a ball swinging, dick swinging move on his part.
Exactly.
Because there's been no progression with the terrorists, there's been no progression in anything else, and now there's this emphasis of Epstein's files. He's got to do something to swing his dick around. So excuse my French, but that's what he's doing with this. So it's like it doesn't make any sense right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I do think it's I do think it's that part of our nature. Like,
exactly.
Like it definitely is that, and it's funny how we still resort to that as humans. Like, like it comes down to that, and of course it's men at the table at the last moment, or is it a show for us? Is it a show for look what we did? I don't know. Our third story let's dive into here is the Showdown AI competition. So we basically have an AI showdown between Grok 4.0 and ChatGPT. So the story is that Grok and ChatGPT are kind of like in this race to be super intelligent. The competition pits Grok, created by xAI, against ChatGPT, developed by OpenAI, in a head-to-head battle to test their smarts, speed, and creativity across various tasks. It's a close race, but there's no clear winner just yet. Grok excels in deep reasoning and math, so Grok is the deeper thinker, while ChatGPT shines in speed and creative tasks. It really depends on what you value more, raw intelligence or versatility. Isn't that funny that we're basically creating two, AI super intelligent machines? One of them is a deep thinker and really smart, but kind of slow talking, and the other one is a fast, sweet talker, but kind of dumb.
It sounds like you and I here, and that's
I know, it's the American dream, man. But it's interesting.
ChatGPT goes pretty deep, like in a lot of aspects, especially with creating things on the fly, So I haven't had much experience with Grok yet.
Oh my god, I'm using Grok 100%. I used a little ChatGPT, but I get a bad feeling when I use ChatGPT. I know.
Do you really?
I do. I don't like it. I don't like something wherever that's plugged into. I don't like. But Grok I like it. I don't know if it's my psychology and my prejudice for business. I don't know what that is, but it's consistent. But here's the weird thing. I mean, what I'm really realizing as I start to play with these things, because I hadn't for a long time, is like I'm starting to build my own like robot. Like what is the superhero where he has like a robot, super intelligent robot that talks. It's all part of the Marvels. I don't even remember his name now. But long story short, it's like I see now when superheroes have this computer that talks to them and helps them work on problems. I now feel like the superhero. I'm like, oh, like in the sense of like I feel like there's this thing that is always trying to make me smarter. It's a weird. It's weird. You have a partner to think with. It's like you have an artificial partner to think things through with.
Right. Do you know what AI feels to me? It feels like an interactive encyclopedia. Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Mine's smart sophomore.
What's that?
Mine's smart sophomore and shit, but I'm on Grok, and she's always, there's always.
But what I'm saying, I'm saying any information I need to, it will calibrate and put it in the proper package that I need. I can interact with that like any type of information I want, and it compiles it perfectly, And so, I mean, I don't use it much other than to like research stuff. Some people use it to do their whole fucking schoolwork on it. I'm like, I just need to research stuff, and maybe come up with some inspiration. But I think it's really great at compacting information, in that way.
Let's do a special AI segment next week.
Yeah, that's why we
ask questions or something, because it'd be fun. And I think you're going to be a little blown away when you play it a little bit longer, because it's like when you sit there and you're like, who's Batman's real identity? I can't remember now.
Oh God, I don't remember either.
Someone tell us. I'm bad with. I'm quoting superheroes. And I don't know the actual names, but Wayne, isn't it Wayne?
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne. So it feels very Bruce Wayne in the sense that like you'd be like, well, what if the apples were poisoned by a dinosaur? That's probable, Chris. But here's the, it's like it will just go off like whatever crazy madman thing you have to say. Like one day I'm like, I'm wondering if I want to make a security thing that like puts lasers at their feet and like fires sounds at them if they come. It's like it could be done. It's like it goes into the where we get source the parts. Would you want to start a design? Like it just like starts to make that into like what I want right now. And I'm not saying it doesn't make mistakes. It does make mistakes. You can't trust it 100%. because it has suggested things that just doesn't exist, which they call hallucinating.
Yeah,
AI
I
will
mean,
hallucinate.
but we'll do that. And before that segment, I definitely want to dive into Grok, and I'm going to kind of do the same tasks side by side and see which results I have on both of them side by side, and just see what I get on the results aspect of it. And I've done a show about AI too. I have a huge perspective on that moving forward. A lot of people are fearing that AI is going to take over and kill everybody. I'm like, why are we so pessimistic? What if it helps us to achieve and to conquer the world in a sense, in a positive way? So there's a spectrum of possibilities that could happen with AI, and so I really think it allows us to be more insightful and more creative, and so we don't have to do all that mundane tasks that AI can do for us. So
I think it's a little bigger than that. I think it's more like having a it's like having a virtual. It's someone that it's another mind. It's a third mind I have now. I have like a second mind now. I can throw problems to a second mind.
Yeah,
which for me is just like awesome. It was Iron Man that I was thinking of, by the way. And I think I can't remember his computer's name. It was
Iron Man. Okay.
Yeah. So with that said, you've got some iron to sell.
Well, of course, but now's the time using your heart too, and we use AI so we can focus more on our heart, right? But during this time, we're going to have more of a spiritual awakening, so there are side effects to a spiritual awakening. So my live show tomorrow, I'm doing a show called Symptoms of a Spiritual Awakening. So how to know what the symptoms are, how to deal with those symptoms, and I do a live show every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I also do live readings during that segment too, one-on-one readings. So you can get your readings in, and if you want to try me out, so to speak, instead. A Perking one-on-one session. But if you do want to book a one-on-one session, scottcruzpm.com. I do life readings, mediumship sessions, and intuition builder sessions as well, which we'll show now in a commercial.
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit, bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzpm.com to book your own personal session today.
And on top of that, I'm running a little promotion for the next 7 days, the Dog Days of Summer special. We're midsummer and mid-year. So get your soul checkup, doing a 10% off all my sessions until August 12th. Hope that'll help out when you get your kids back to summer. And the code there will be Dog Days when you do booking. So scottcruzpm.com. Take advantage of that special. It'll end on the 12th. I know I've never done specials before. I figured, why not?
Oh, never say never. Well, it's funny. Scott is phenomenal. If you lost your keys, he can help you find them. Just kidding.
Or need to rent a home or purchase a home. I'll tell you which home not to buy.
What were you saying right before the commercial? Go to Scott. He'll pull that right back up in the record. That's what it turned down to. That's what ChatGPT will never be, is psychic intuitive, right? So we're just going to turn like these GoBots for psychic information.
Well, it's funny though, because like when people book a session, right, and they get satisfied. I'm not going to try to toot my own horn in. They come back. They just want to test out so many different things. Where'd my keys go? They start like trying to play with it so much. I'm like, let's teach you how to do it now, because I don't be exploited. But yeah, I think when people get really good reads, or get with a good reader, or you see the spiritual space come to manifestation or validation, it's exciting. You want more. So
it's addictive.
Yeah,
I would say, it is at that point. Well, once you realize there's another source, I mean, for me, it was just magical, and I'm still blown away at Step Astrology, how incredibly accurate it is, how I know so much about you that'll scare you, put you to tears, and our government and our schools and everything thinks it's a hoax. I was like, it's everything about every person in the world, for free. It's just, I cannot believe it. It's even less ethereal than, what you and I do when we're in a session. But I'd say this is a good segue to get into our topic today of power and purpose. And then we'll do portal energy in the next segment. So the idea here is that personal power happens when we're in alignment with purpose, right? Like your power comes from your purpose. The problem is my clients can't find their purpose.
I know that's the main question. What was my purpose? So
where's my purse? Like,
right. Where's my purse,
so,
Scott? Is that my purpose? No, but purpose. I think people misconstrue, Christopher, purpose with career. And I want people to understand purpose is what you're trying to evolve into as a person. So I think when we look at our collective experiences and what we've gone through, our deprivations, our challenges, our troubles, there underneath that lies our purpose, because we're fighting against some sort of emotional deprivation or resistance. It's the expansion of those emotions is our purpose. And so I always say I try to help people find their theme, which then when they find their theme and live their theme and express their theme, they find the right career, they find the right relationship, right? They find the right avenues of experience. So I think people put the cart before the horse. I think purpose is the tangibles, not the internals. So it's all the internals. Purpose.
I prefer to help people find the right lotto numbers. I think that's really what can be effective. No, I can't do that, y'all. Don't even ask. No, I think purpose. Oh, I've got deep on this, but at the end of the day, I think you have multiple purposes. As far as light and heavy. I believe now that you choose one lifetime to base on your next lifetime. You don't bring those. You can bring in themes from others. You can bring in special effects like talent and stuff like that. And your purpose is basically your intentions you made before you incarnated. And I call that the goal. The game. The game is your growth aim. Like you're trying to grow your soul. You're deliberately trying to grow your soul. So you take this module on 1920s, stock market, and you live that lifetime, and you're like, whoa. I just understood values more like I've ever understood values. I liked it. But I think in this lifetime, we've all had two purposes. The first purpose was what we just wrapped up this year, which is healing from the dark ages. That was a huge purpose. That was a big one. It was a nasty one, and I'll never do it again. The next purpose, I think, is something our heart has always wanted, is what I get. When I talk to spirits, like it's something that the heart's always wanted. I mean, just think, it's like they were in Atlantis, everything was going great. Some asshole blows it up. Oh, Jesus, it's going to be 26,000 years of darkness. What are we gonna do in the meantime? So we just, we keep incarnating and we get beaten up, all this other stuff. We never got to do that cool thing we want to do. So I feel that everyone's heart wants to do something. And I feel collectively, the people who are here and their heart wants to do something, that's like the people who have the inventions, the people who have the ideas, the people who have the innovations. These people, what their heart wants to do, this is the magic that's about to unfold, is that they're going to do what their heart wants. And it's be like, what the, and with technology and everything at the same time, it's just, I just hope it moves fast enough to be a high. I don't like slow grass growing anymore. That was like the last, 20 years is like, all right, let's make the donuts. Like every day we just went to our job and face our fears. I hope that this will be a real exciting, fun time.
Yeah. I mean, but it's so some people say like, how can we stand in our power and purpose? How do you stand in it?
Well, it's your heart. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I'm saying a lot of people ask that question, right? And I'm just like, it's to me, it's just so simple, and I know it could be so complex, and like we overly mystify this. And I'm just like, when you own it, you own where you're at, you own where you're going. You don't make excuses for why you've been where you've been. You don't make excuses why you can't go where you're going. You're just like, I own what I've done, I own where I'm at, and I'm owning where I'm going. And that's how you stand in your power and purpose, because then you're intuitive enough to understand your karmic journey here.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like we were saying in the very beginning, like not being judgmental about the process and where you're at and what you haven't done, and just allow yourself to evolve from it. And that's how you stand in it. And that allows things to accelerate more. Because a lot of our blocks, Christopher, is judgment, regret, deprivation, guilt. That's also all the blocks.
Those are all tools and responses. So you got hurt, your heart was broken, and that's why you started being critical. That's why you started blocking shit. They're all like habits we formed out of the hospital of our karma. Like we came out of our karma, we're so fucked up. We started doing these different things to just to stop the bleeding, stop the pain. And that's really most of it, is like, just stop trying to fix yourself with negative tools. That's what's really happening. And that's the thing. We're like caught in it. We're like in a loop, The one thing about AI that's interesting is because there's this thing that's getting smarter than us every day. It's not like even the idiots on the couch are like, I better learn something. It's like, I think you're going to get. It's like you're going to be left behind, like with intelligence. Like it's time. Everyone's going to speed, and everyone's an idiot. Be like, I just want to understand, or whatever. I know it's in Southern because I live there, but overall, I've seen those bubbas. I know those bubbas.
I'm waiting for it to derail right now. No.
Explain to me how the shuttle was able to take off at that rate. Let's go ahead.
Right. The mouth. You got the mouth going too.
AI. Yeah.
No, but that's so true. Like we've all, if we're evolving, yes. Even, and I hate to I say this in love, even the stupid people get a little bit of an upgrade.
A big upgrade, because they can ChatGPT be like, okay, let me explain it closer.
Right. Go get a job.
That's the thing. ChatGPT will take the time to explain to them.
Yeah.
To
Right.
explain to everybody. That's what I realized. Like, oh my
In
god,
their way too. Yeah.
And then somebody's gonna be like, "You mean the what?" You know, like, give me that moment where some idiot doesn't realize that now he gets it. You know, it's like, and now he's like, oh, even he's like, oh my god. I think it's a fascinating moment in that sense. Fascinating.
Yeah. But again, upgrades. And so a lot of us gonna have those spiritual ascensions and spiritual awakenings, and there's side effects that come with it, man. And so if we allow ourselves to nurture those side effects of an awakening, we stand in our power, and we allow ourselves to nurture our power and then know how to utilize our power. And then when we do, then we actually allow ourselves to then protect it, because, when my spiritual abilities have upgraded, it's like, I preserve it. I don't want any other energies interfering with what I'm doing and how I'm working with it. And I want to protect it, and I want to use it for the best, intentions too, because when you understand you have a certain power, you understand the responsibility that comes with it. And I think that's the protection of the power, and not letting people interfere with that. Don't let anything contaminate. That's why I won't eat shitty foods. That's why I won't do certain things or take certain chemicals. I don't interfere with my channel, and so there's a lot that I think that we have to do to understand how to really protect that and understand the responsibility it is with the power that we have within us too, how to express it and to not fuck it up, so to speak, as RuPaul says.
It's boundaries. Someone asked like how you have the power, how you master it. They're asking, how you kept your power. And I'll tell you why. He's got like a 25-digit combination of the safe. Okay. This guy's not easy to get into. He is very guarded. He actually energetically says, "Stand back." Like when he enters the room, you kind of feel like this, like, "Stand back, all rise."
Who, me?
Stand back. Yes. People have auras that have boundaries, and those boundaries are your heart's intentions going, "This must happen. This must happen," and that is how this world works. By the way, when you say it out loud, it really is true. It is so for that day. It is so. And I'm gonna tell this in clients. If you wake up in the morning and you've got this like person in the office just fucking drives you crazy, okay, and you just won't be quiet, you can actually try this experiment. You in the morning you go, "I protect myself from getting upset from so and so today. I protect from getting upset." And guess what? Go to the office. You will not get upset. They'll either not do it, they won't be there, or you won't get upset when they do it. You have to see this to believe it. The reality will fall immediately. That's called a boundary.
And there's a fine line between like triggers and just annoyances. Like, for example, there's certain things that trigger us that we have unresolved karma or trauma with, that causes triggers, and we have to work that through. But I would say there's certain things that just are irritating. Like, for example, like if you work on a bed of nails, you can't pretend like, let me just work through the pain here. It's gonna hurt. You're not gonna want to walk on a bed of nails. You're not gonna walk on a broken glass. It's gonna hurt. And so it's unnecessary to have to say, well, I'm gonna try to make myself not feel that pain. But there's other things in life too that are just triggers and annoyances that we could also identify that this is not the right environment for us to be in.
Well,
and a lot of times we torture ourselves into thinking that we have to become okay with it. It's like, no, you don't. Just like you don't have to be okay with walking on broken glass. There's certain things that's just not your environment. And if you keep pushing yourself in those environments and not protecting your own space and boundaries, you're going to become irritable or respond in ways you don't want to.
That's, to me, you're speaking Aquarius. Because what you're saying is you shouldn't be where you don't belong. Yes. You should not be where you don't belong. And where you not belong, you don't belong with a different vibe. So I agree. Half the age of Aquarius is if you're not a cannibalist, don't go down there. It's like what are you doing? It's like, so people are doing shit. So what are you doing? So there's that. You don't belong there, man. You just don't belong. Like, them have that side of the earth, and we'll have this one, and it's fine. We've never had a problem. But then there's the other part where people don't know how to emotionally cope. And emotionally cope is, like, I don't know, but I want to be. And it's like they don't know what they're going to do with their emotions that's coming up and welling up. And that's why people are drinking, doing drugs, because they don't want to feel. And you know what, guys? All this is this. I know, baby. I know. Like, we really just we don't simply make ourselves feel calm. We don't calm ourselves down. Even monkeys will pick each other's like crap out of their hair. We have to develop this way of learning how to calm our emotions down and letting our emotions be our friend. And that, ironically, is, I think, our biggest problem. We're emotionally immature, our species, emotionally immature. Now, here's the good news. Apparently, emotions haven't been around in any other planet ever. This apparently is the only planet in God's system that has emotion. Apparently, it's a special effect of being an earthling. It's a special effect of being an earthling, and it's also tied to your ability to create. Your emotions actually put out the vibration calling for the reality to fold. So it's like, now you start to see, if we are creating our reality through our emotions and our interaction of our emotions, and we don't have any fucking clue on how to nurture ourselves, and we're still afraid of the dark. No wonder this planet is heading for the sun.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
true.
totally.
That is very true. Yeah. So what do we have next? Actually, we have some little
We have
promos
some more
here.
topics on this. Oops, I think we just there we go. It was closed out the thing.
As far as producer,
Well, we have a couple more. We have a couple more things in this regard. So the idea is powers and portals, right? And the interesting thing is, about portals in the sense of Lionsgate is allegedly a portal, and I think our producers want to talk about the idea of what a portal is, right? And whether or not it exists or not. I'll go through here to the sauce.
We'll do that when we come back from a commercial break. We'll do that. This one commercial.
All right,
We'll come back.
fine.
And we'll start fresh with that.
Come back.
Hello, I'm Sanandra, founder of Sichi Organics. We are celebrating our 30th year anniversary as a small business with simple, clean, organic skin and hair care made with love. To celebrate our 30-year anniversary, enter code word JOY30 at checkout and you'll receive 30% off any individual Sichi skin and hair care product.
Happy anniversary, CG!
From the creators of 40 Days of Past Lives and Karma and 40 Days of Self-Love comes the class you've been waiting for, an introduction to Step Astrology. That's right, I'm sharing some of my inside secrets on how to read a chart according to Step Astrology and help you interpret the stars, whether it's for yourself or for clients. Keep a lookout for us coming soon. Awesome, we're back.
The field producer was yelling at us, commercial. So I had to abruptly go that direction.
Oh yeah, our field producer. Huh? We have one of those.
I said field producer, someone who's running the field.
Oh yeah, totally.
The virtual field.
Yeah, picking up. It says we're cleaning the fields. So we're talking about power and purpose. I want to say just on purpose real quick. Purpose is your heart's calling. I believe that we are here to experience who we are. And I believe that's why God created the universe, is because God didn't know who he was and he was lonely. And so he decided to I'm going to create, who am I? What do I look like from the outside in? And ultimately that's the creation of the universe. And so you're here to express yourself and see yourself in ways you never saw yourself before. And what that comes down to is what your heart is curious about and what would be fun. That's really it. It's what would be fun. Now, I think when you're in heaven, sometimes it may be fun to be the bad guy. I think sometimes it may be fun to do some of these other things that we see happen on the planet. I know in some sessions, in cases where people are murdered and stuff like that, a lot of times you chose the person in heaven that you want to play that role because you wanted the person you liked most to play the heavy. So we often choose the people we like most to play the asshole because we know they won't be so much of an asshole. As far as the way I understand this goes, it's completely not what we think, as far as our blaming and our shaming.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, again, it's a flip flopping of roles, I would say, because what we hate and detest in this lifetime, we were in a past lifetime. So, totally. We're kind of flip flopping on that. We're mirroring each other. Sometimes you and I both always say this, that we reverse the roles. If we were an asshole this last incarnation, this incarnation we're going to deal with a lot of assholes, and very overbearing people. So, it's a definitely mirror. And people always think mirroring just means in this incarnation. That mirroring is happening from past incarnations too, unresolved.
I'll tell you right now.
And
another thing that happens is if you're a person who's beating yourself up your whole life, I don't know, motherfucker, you got to just give it, like Scott does. I'm just kidding. And you beat yourself up on the inside, your voice on the inside. In the next life, your mother or your father is the incarnation of that voice. So a lot of times my clients' parents are actually incarnations of the character they played inside their head in the last life. So you can see how ugly and disgusting your thoughts were to yourself. You never went down the path again.
Right. And the only way we need the external source as a mirror to show to us that that's what we're experiencing, because it's hard being in a physical reality, having to internalize everything, but we came into physical reality to have a dense experience, to actually be more perceptive and to play with it and the physicality of it all. So yeah, and I think that again, if we came here for emotion, we're here to focus on emotion, not focus on getting things and obtaining things and manifesting circumstances and conditions. Those are results of, I would say, the rewards of when we've actually evolved from our emotional deprivations. So
Yes.
that's the key of mastery, and I've been so validated by that in my life experiences, because every time I focus on that, there's an upgrade in my life. Not upgrade. Every time I upgrade my physical conditions because I made some sort of emotional breakthrough,
Right.
in that sense, or breakdown to breakthrough. And so I want people to really understand that's the magic, that's the secret, that's the power.
I agree. I've come to only understand it in its full totality, like in the last year. I mean, I feel that. So again, the Earth is a game. It's this game you can play in heaven reality. And when you come down, Earth's got this new feature called emotion. We've never had it before in the game, and now we're gonna feel like goosebumps and piss our pants when things happen. Like, it's a cool new feature in the game. And so we come down not having had any galactic experience with it. Apparently, that's why the aliens all stand back from Earthlings. It's not because we stink, but we do. It's because our emotions are like literally congesting them. Is what I've been
Yeah.
what I've told. Like, it causes congestion. They get a little from all the vibes coming off of us all the time. It's like, and so they avoid us because we're loud.
It's too dense. But, we've been having some visitations lately. They confirmed alien life force, a couple years ago. And so was saying, like, actual connection between 25, 2030, right? That timeline.
Next year,
We'll have actual connection. So that to me is evidence that we're raising frequency, that we're resolving emotion, that we're evolving from that sense. We're coming a step closer to actually having direct contact collectively. So, yeah, it's just the emotions. It's just too dense. I mean, the density doesn't mean it's bad. Many people might say it's a bad thing. It just means that it's thicker. It's more spread out to be observable.
God, this is giving me. No, I'm kidding. It's sort of like Thanksgiving after you've eaten. It's like it's a little dense. It's like. You didn't have to eat that much. It's a little thicker. Was it spread out? I can't remember. Yeah. No, it is. It is dense. And it's heavy. It's hard, and you have to like push to get out of it. Okay, we said enough. Purpose.
That's what she says.
Experience. You have purpose. Your heart wants to experience. Now, the reason why it turns into something cool is because the game then takes your heart's desire and makes it a benefit to the world.
Yeah.
And so it's wired into the system to where what your heart happens to want happens to be what they needed in 1875 or whatever. And so it's brilliant the way it all works. It's just absolutely brilliant, this whole system.
Yeah.
Now, portals. I guess we'll just close up on portals here. We've got 5 minutes and counting till the portal closes of television. What the hell's a portal? What do you think? Well, I mean, seriously, you hear this story about all the time in light work. It's a portal, the vortex. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, you can also classify it as a vortex. And so, but vortexes to me, but I'm saying, a vortex is basically a spiral of energy. It's upward and downward. So, downward could be considered a portal, but, portal is almost like what we classify as, a gateway between physical reality and some sort of spiritual high dimensional reality. Right. And so we can classify that. So we have a portal within ourselves. You can call it the third eye. We can call it, the pineal gland is our access point, our portal, our channel to spirit consciousness. So we can keep it simple in that regard. And so the opening of a portal means you're actually allowing that feed from non-physical, your higher mind and higher interdimensional, the Akashic record information to channel through you, and to as above, so below. We allow that to be inevitable for us, and we're more conscious about that movement, And so that to me is like what a portal of energy is. But when I go to homes as a physical medium, I'll see like there's like a vortex in a home that's just certain chaotic energy that could be from residual energy. It's not necessarily a portal; it's just like a cluster of energy that cycles, and that can be a positive force or a negative force depending on what it is, and that can bring different inspirations throughout it out. But when we're talking portal, we're talking about your higher mind and your access point, the receiver to spirit reality and non-physical reality. What are you laughing at?
Or, because of a joke I'm thinking of, like if you're talking portal, I'm talking about a proctologist is when you're talking portals, right?
What the fuck? What's up your portal?
But portals, I agree with you, are energetic. There seem to be where God
portal pills
like spins in a certain way. Like, for instance, I believe that I live in a vortex here in Palm Springs. There's a vortex here. I know it.
I told you it's upward.
Yeah, they all are upward. I've never been slammed down the ground by a vortex.
Well, there's downward portals that cause like a heaviness and thickness, and especially in like
true.
locations. But
Yeah,
like
that's
usually like big places like that will have upward, and it's right by there's a crevice of the mountain there. You'll
Yeah.
see it's like a little crevice. That's where there's a huge energy cluster there.
There's crystals in the hills, and it's
Crystals in the
basically
hills.
like the whole thing is a half shell. Anyways, like Palm Springs is like in this like little like kind of mountain, like I don't even know, hug. And so when you fly and you're like flying around the mountain hug, it's really interesting. But I came here and I was like about 3 or 4 days. First, I came here and I was out of it, like instantly out of it. And then over time, all my heavy stuff started coming up. So the first thing it does is like drills all the shit up. Like I think it pulls it up. And that's the story kind of here in Palm Springs. Like people come here to be homeless. People come here lost. Like they come here to like have a breakthrough into marriage. It's a really weird kind of like pit stop.
It's a transitory place, yeah.
It
And
really
wait till
is.
come-
Well, for some,
wait-
I'm not saying that. I
Yeah.
like being here. I like it.
yeah, I
living
did too.
in
I did too. But you'll see. I did too. You'll feel a push somewhere else. But wait till you come visit the Sierras.
Oh no,
Talk
no,
about
no!
that
Don't come
place.
visit your portal, bitch. You say you take your portal. Take mine. We don't need to share. I'm having this portal. But no, actually, I had the portal pop. I had the portal pop about no, seriously, I've had a portal before. I lived in a tiny home portal, in the valley in San Francisco. I mean, in LA, and the house was built into a corner of the hill. Like the house, there's like a corner of the hill that like just sort of like, and there's a pool there. That's another thing. Water's important for some reason. And so when we went in that backyard, man, we were just like, we never want to go back in the house. Like there's just something that just kept us intoxicated. We put on the Beatles one time and smoked a joint. Oh my God. Like it was another reality. Like it was just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was being teleported and just from the energy spinning. And people come to the house and be like, I've been here 5 hours. You know, like they end up staying longer than they expected. So so portals, I think portals come out in many ways, to wrap the topic. I think there's man-made portals too, which I think we talked about last week, the pyramids are. In some cases, man-made portals to Orion. That's why that's why Orion rising on Lionsgate and Sirius and all that has to do with going to Orion, which is interesting. But I also think we're gonna learn more about portals as the time moves on. I feel like their weather's gonna kick up.
Yeah, well, you said the weather's. You say the weather's going to kick up. Is that what you said?
I think the portals are. I think all these spiritual phenomenon like places.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're very quiet.
Totally.
So I think, from what I understand, like the energy is not what it was when the pyramids were around. Like they were glowing in the dark. They were keeping light around. They were keeping everyone really happy. They were, apparently you were stoned when you were around the pyramids. If you were certain many miles, you were just happy, like you're at a carnival. Like the vibration coming off the pyramid was just so vibrant that people were pretty much stoned, like off of it, and happy to be there. But anyways, the Earth has not been shaken like that in a long time. She hasn't had that kind of level of energy, and I feel like that's really what this is all about. Gaia is ascending, our Earth is ascending, and you're standing on it. So what are you gonna do? Like she is going to the next vibration. She's heading for 5D. She's heading up for 3D, and she's a being that is holding the planet together in her conscious and willpower. So I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to be caught in it. And I think we haven't seen, since Atlantis, what that really means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's my
so how do we activate that when ourselves, understanding, knowing our power, and understand the portals within us first of how to access our own higher mind, spiritual consciousness, Akashic records, and all our past incarnations, and what our divine purpose is moving forward. That's how we actually own that power now. And so I would say be your own portal, pop your own portals within yourself. And so you'll understand how to harness your power and set the boundaries of such. And then we move forward. Then we're clear.
I honestly say joy and serious joy, because what we designed was actually something that was slowly every day bring you into your complete openness and help you open up your heart and help you open up all the parts of yourself that support the heart. That's what we are. In fact, in 7 years, you will be at the place of where I am. I feel like not like where I am now, but like where I started, in the sense of just open and connected and listening. It's just a day by day thing. That's why we send the text messages every day, 7 times a day.
Yeah,
you just have to just like braces. You just put on those spiritual braces and you will be there. I can almost promise, I should just say, I promise you'll be there. I don't have anyone that hasn't, except quitting, of course. But the idea is you need a constant coach there all the time. And that can be your own self, which is how I did it. Something my higher self was just telling me the whole time, okay, no, like do this. I don't know. Have you? Well, I guess we can't do this now. We should probably wrap up. But I want to talk about higher selves one of these episodes.
Well, yeah, we'll go in AI higher self. We kind of combine the episode with that. Yeah, we'll definitely get into it. It leaves a lot open for discussion on that. You know, but if not, guys, if you want to tune in tomorrow too, my live show, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, talking about again your symptoms of a spiritual awakening and how to navigate during this time. Join me live tomorrow and catch us every Wednesday here. LOL, right, Christopher?
That's right. Join me on Friday nights, actually on YouTube as well. We'll have Namaste Today, which, by the way, is going through a little bit of a transformation. We'll be renaming it, we'll be rebranding it, and it's going to be all about the signs. So Namaste Today is now going to be focusing specifically on the 12 signs and their narratives and looking at it as a soap opera. It's going to be great and more powerful. I think it'd be really strong horoscopes. And then, of course, we also have Astro Mingle, where I got to meet Scott, all the great people I met this year. I'm interviewing light workers, telling us things, and it's just blown my mind, the stuff I'm learning, dude, from other people's like disciplines and stuff. It's absolutely fascinating. So we've done some pre-recordings I'm excited about. They're coming out. It's just great stuff. So Astro Mingle is where you hang out and have a mocktail and continue this weird conversation. Yeah.
Amen.
Okay, well, that's it. I think it's time to close our portals and shut down our power. Yeah. Don't forget, folks, you don't have to, tolerate some crap. Just lead out loud.